You really think I'm gonna wear it again? The only way to find out is spectacular. I mean, come on. I told you. If it wants to make its full appearance again, you gotta win the belt, Smets. Now, which I believe you will. I do believe you will, especially if Kalinowski's attitude is gonna be, well, you know, that's, if there's a noise that's gonna sum that up, you know, that it'd be that. Although I think it'd be a lot raunchier. But anyway, so it's been a few days since I chose to react to the Friday match. We'll get to that thing we were talking about. So you kind of sort of have an idea of my thoughts, but it's been a few days, so some slight things have varied, and I'm able to gather up what I need to say to sum up a lot of what went on and where my thoughts are on that. Okay, and plus it is tournament week as coming up, and I'm going to have to figure that in too. Must be trying to catch up with that. I wanted to see Tark Fate, but I just did not use my money to see that. And and I need to focus on getting this here and doing some other things for band and for apparently hunting. So, once the deer season for rifles starts up for me, and I guess another bandmate of mine, which is probably why I may not be for those couple days, which is why I got to figure out a way to give a certain particular beer I bought from O'Fallon to a buddy of mine that I told him about being kind of similar to Southern Pecan, all that other stuff. But anyway, we're here to talk about beer. We're going to talk about Schmoedown. Schmoedown Rockers. Forgot to do that earlier, sorry. But anyways, and also Dungeon Heads in this case. But for now, it's a very geeky week. We had a Star Wars match and then an Inner Geekdom. The Inner Geekdom one I find obviously was one of the better ones, and thank God they say that one for Friday for reasons. Anyways, so the Inner Geekdom one, well, I learned I got an extra person on the list. Alice is her name. I'm still sure. But anyway, the also it kind of makes me wonder if I should post something on because apparently from the way it looks, I think her and Roxy might be the same height. I don't know. It just it's got me curious. Who's to like are they the same height, or which one's taller than the other? I don't know. It does have me curious. And apparently it's Chicago, so that's more likely looking. But anyway, Dimalanta and Leslie? I want to say Leslie. I mean, I was so caught up. I'm sorry, I was so caught up in Smets. Still kind of am. That I kind of blanked a little bit on this one, except that entrance was good. And plus, I also like the choice of Galactic Empire. I'm not sure which one of the portions of the Star Wars score. It's been a while since I listened to that Galactic Empire record, and I need to do that, and I need to keep that in my rotation. Also, speaking of Galactic Empire, clearly that's essentially a metal version, and the metal that they are going off of is more prog metal, more closer into the vein of something along the lines of like an Ocean Machine, Transcendence, Epicloud sort of style / Epicloud, particular Tevin Townsend sound. A lot of the DTP stuff from that, or something along the lines of something like Life, or like certain things of the Devin Townsend band projects like Deadhead. So that's kind of what Galactic Empire, if you like Galactic Empire sound, I recommend those to any of you. So, while I'm at it, the match was pretty solid. Dimalanta, unfortunately, missed like one question against Leslie. We've seen their debuts during the 5-way match they had at Star Wars Celebration earlier to go to see who would wind up going over to see, and they were one of the top 2 other players aside from Scrimshaw himself, the only vet that seems to have been on that table and managed to win that and go on the following day to face to face Alex Damon, but the Demon Damon. And Damon unfortunately could not, who of course unfortunately couldn't beat Damon, and of course whoever now in this match would have the right to face Damon comes Spectacular, because right now we needed to figure out all the other events so that we can easily promote those, and let the tournament run its course for the teams, which I eventually figured out a way to print that off and let you know where my stance is. And I do have loose cannons all the way, so I don't know if that's going to be, and if it's, at this point, it probably may not matter. I understand if for some people chose, I like Tim Franco, but I just don't think Stacey Howard is going to pull back from her loss from Brendan Meyer well enough to help aid in beating loose cannons, especially given that, especially now that it seems Eric Wants to Win is really on a certain warpath right now, and so it seems after his championship win, he's gonna need to. It's gonna suck if he's holding back so he can focus on that singles title. Oyama, please, my bracket doesn't need you holding back and not giving a shit, or else I'm really gonna be mad at you. Really gonna be mad at you, and I gotta completely look to Smets when it comes to the dungeon now. You know, I mean, much as I like you retain, but if Ben's gonna be there, if Ben's gonna wind up winning that against Bibbs, it's not like Bibbs doesn't have something in his back pocket anyway that he could use. So I ain't as worried about Bibbs winning that number one contendership. But anyways, Dimalanta, and then I think he was able to get everything. And for the most part, it seemed they were able to do pretty well. I think some multiple choice here and there at the round twos. But it didn't seem like Dimalanta was doing well enough to... I think Dimalanta did better by the way second round went, but it seemed by the third round he got most of his questions, his 2 and his 3. Unfortunately, Leslie couldn't get her 3, but was able to pull her 5, forcing Dimalanta to pull his 5, and was not able to get the answer necessary, and Leslie is now our, I think it's Leslie. If I'm butchering, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. But now she's my only one that, and now we have our, Star Wars match, of Leslie versus Damon. Of course, now going to the big thing that happened Friday's match. Also around that point, we find out how Mara's thing has finally been resolved, in terms, or at least Emma was able to finally get that storyline part resolved before she no longer had that power come the next thing. And Mara doing her stalker thing, her every breath you take stalker-ish thing, it seems. Which is still continuing. I guess that's her storyline thing they're letting her do, that she's apparently now willing to go along with, compared to before where she just didn't have anything storyline-wise. But yeah, and her back and forth third Emma's been kind of fun, I guess. A little some too many that's what she said jokes could be made within some of those one-liners in the conversation, probably. But anyways, and of course she's finally got what she was promised, which she essentially disbanded, so I understood the decision where she couldn't, because she couldn't handle things. It wasn't so much a retirement, it was kind of a retirement situation, I guess, ish, and she was just done at the time. And but she eventually got her bearings back and finally comes back after so long from her recovery of everything, mental recovery she needed to have, and to the extent, I guess, despite what the promos say otherwise. But yeah, she's come back, and then Mara decided to basically put in her number one contendership that she should have had from last year's New York match in January, and we're going to have it for this year's New York match in January. So which I guess is going to be kind of the main event, which is her versus whoever winds up with the title after Spectacular. So we'll have that. So by that point, we'll finally have the next live event match in New York set. So New York 3, I guess. Live event 3 will be that. Will be Mara versus either Smets or Kalinowski at this point. Yes, Smets won the thing. I'm fucking excited as fuck. If you hadn't already noticed from in the dungeon page, which you should also check out there, you know. We do a lot of stuff. We can do a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, sometimes it's burger related. I need to throw up a few burger show things there. A two-parter thing involving Texas, because I know of like 3 reactor people and that are from Texas that need to. That maybe because it's not Whataburger's not in there. I'm going to tell you already that if you've watched this, but yeah, I'm going to probably post that later. I'll post and figuring things out with this. So, anyways, Smets versus Chandru. I had a feeling from the match that Chandru and Brandon had, his match with Brandon Hanna, especially given that both of them had perfect first rounds. I didn't expect a KO or TKO for Smets this time around. I expected it would be more of a challenge, and boy, was it ever. Only this time, Smets took his time, took a few breaths, and was able to get he only missed one question, unfortunately, in his round 1, wasn't able to get a perfect round, but neither did Chandru, and in fact, his wasn't nearly as near perfect as Smets was, because he wound up missing 2 questions. Though one of them was kind of funny and perfectly 420, and given the premiere at the time it was for me, which would have been 4 o'clock here, Midwest time, at that time before the time change happened here for daylight savings, it was almost actually 420 where I was at when that happened with the question, which is kind of funny. I mean, it was 2 minutes off, but still, like 2 minutes beforehand, but still, but almost funny. It would have been even more ironic. And I do like Chandru. I'm kind of lurking around here and there in that page. I'll probably post this here on that page as well, because you need it. And Jake Margiano, shut the fuck up about how I post shit. Don't bitch about your shit. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. So. Also, we get to, and then I don't think we had a cut promo for that one after that. But then we had 2 other promos cuts, but those were during the matches. We had one leading into it, which is hysterical. Turns out the old dungeon is apparently gone, because it seems Kaiser decided to use what money he had to pay for Aoyama's glasses and apparently Zipper's braces, which we're not going to see anyway. And apparently we're in a base in what looks like more of a high school steps. It turns out it's actually according to them, it's a Denny's basement. I don't think Denny's have basements really, but I mean, it almost tempted me to have to go for some Denny's afterwards. Almost did. I might consider it later. But anyways, and I don't blame Smets for his comments involving Chandru, but it did have me worried at the time. I was able to enjoy the humor of the thing when the dust settled, because I was half worried that we were going to get that might have a dungeon breakup if things didn't work out with Smets, which I was like, thank God. And yeah, Chandru's pull at the end was pretty crazy too. Oh my God. Part of me wanted him to miss, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to be slightly happy. But then again, I'm like, oh shit. See, it's got to work for it. And he did. Oh, he did. In fact, to the point where he broke Mike's record. I didn't have much idea till he said something in a reaction for Call to Actions thing. Apparently him and Chandru were there in that reaction. So, yeah, apparently the C2A's got bragging rights there. So, Yeah, I was kind of a little mad that you kind of asked Roxy, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, that's what you're wondering. And I didn't get a chance to tell Kaiser it's my fault. I said open my mouth, but got in a little trouble. I had to say that because I was getting very mad in that with her consistently bitching about opening her mouth, even though I think it should have been shut pretty well when it came to the whole thing with the live event. Yeah, he didn't do great, but he won. And Snyder's completely not going to get another shot until next season, if that at all, if you're still even managing him. So just stop it, Roxy. That kayfabe aside, good luck in hosting Collider Live, or co-hosting with Arena. Kind of sort of trying to watch it, and it seems there's still some slight increments of what I'm still enjoy and love of it, and I'm still going to watch Sin on top of that as well, which you should do those as well, guys. Anyways, the cutscenes, Chandru, I mean, you have next season, you'll probably be a very tasty draft pick. Lack of better phrasing or terms. For to come into the draft, and whoever you got managing you will better do wonders for you. And it's not like on your own you've already proven yourself, but once you have a manager, you will more than likely wind up in that seat again. And I wouldn't mind seeing a Chandru versus Smets again after this match. My God. 24-28. Just fudge popsicle sticks. It was great. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I needed this. One more match, and I can wear that son of a bitch again. Yes! And shut up, Kalinowski. He beat your record. You're gonna fear him, and if your attitude is that you've said, "Oh, I've driven enough," it's like, really? You've never retained. You've never retained since you've had the belt. You're on your second one, and you still haven't retained. Shut up. That's what you need to prove, is that you can retain a belt. Because aside from maybe Inman and Navarro, they're the only ones who've retained. They're the only ones who've retained a belt. You have not yet. Poor Rachel hasn't, unfortunately, and she would have if she didn't bother to retire, but I believe and she probably would have if she had the chance to get the belt again, if she hadn't retired, but it is what it is. Thank you, Shire Wolves. If it hasn't already been said enough, it still should be said at this point, and you should at least deserve a nomination, if not a win. So, for the year in terms of the teams, regardless. Maybe not as much as last year, but you deserve to still be given at least a nomination. For sure. Rachel and Clark. And it is nice to see them both coming around on the desk. And it was, in fact, nice to see her doing that on the desk for this, as well as alongside Andreyko in that horror match, which has me worried for my bracket, a portion of my bracket involving Looney Bin versus... yeah, especially given what's-his-face lasted longer. So I'm a little worried there, but I hope whatever happened in that exhibition doesn't transfer into the to the teams brackets, because I do have Looney Bin going there. Going at least into round 2. I thought it would have higher, but I didn't realize what else the rest of the bracket was. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. So, and I wish they could go a little further. And I slightly don't blame Spence for having Looney Bin go further. Be interesting if they did. But, and he does have loose cannons going pretty good too, but, I have loose cannons going more other way. But I'm trying to rest on my dungeon laurels and bring my support to the dungeon as much as I can. Including that, which means don't let me down, Zip, or Prime Time. Every time should be prime time, not just when you're defending a belt. which you need to work on that too since of the live event. And you're going to have to work out the kinks and the bugs of that if you're going to even beat either Bibbs or Ben, given the momentum that they have. You'll be lucky if they can defend. And I think Ben, I most likely believe Ben might have more of a shot. If Bibbs wins, I also wouldn't be surprised, but I'm hoping for Ben because he's the only one of the two that hasn't had a belt yet and has been working his way, and he's had come close before, and he wound up being a lot closer, given his... But and Smets, he's going to win the belt. I don't know when it comes to the Star Wars thing. More likely Damon could retain, but I would love and be surprised to see our first shot at a woman holding the Star Wars belt, which would be nice. And this is the closest thing you're ever going to get to that at the moment. So, other than that, tournament week next week. I was told 3 matches, but it seems we might still have 2, and I guess maybe the 3 matches ain't going to be until probably next year is when they're going to do that, after draft and all that other stuff is over. But anyways, and I also love the promo thing. That was a good back and forth. Smets had some good liners. No, they ain't out to get me. Don't worry about that. Not sure they're going after, but that or it's something else. And if that's something else, anyway. But anyways, as far as good luck, Chandru, in future endeavors. Wish you the best. You did dang good, so I thought highly enough of you to just say that you weren't gonna be an easy win for Smets, that's for sure. And you weren't. Hell, your pull with that 5-pointer was great. Was pretty damn good, and Smets definitely got what he needed to do to win it. And he pulled it. He pulled it. Oh my God. Yes. Happy, don't you hear? Smash dance. No tap dancing shoes needed, Kaiser. No worries there. So, what did you all think of this past week's Schmoedown matches of Star Wars and the Inner Geekdom #1 contenderships? Leave a comment below, let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rockin'. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown and Schmoedown rocks,